I hope you don't mind me messaging you so suddenly. This is Linda, Millie's mother. It's lovely to finally talk to you.
No, of course not. It's great to hear from you, Linda. I'm Noah. I've been dating Millie for about a year now. And you've probably already heard the news from Millie.
Yes, I've heard a lot about you from my daughter. She also let us know that you proposed to her. My husband and I were delighted to hear the wonderful news.
Yeah, I'm very lucky that she actually said yes.
Congratulations. She told me everything about where and how it happened. Sounds like you had this proposal planned for a long time, considering the fact that you managed to book a private room at a 5-star restaurant. I hear that they're almost always fully booked, so I was surprised to hear that you made a reservation. My daughter said that she had a wonderful time and that it was a lovely restaurant. You've got very good taste. A lot of men don't realize that those kinds of details mean a lot, but my daughter's very lucky that you put money where it matters.
No, it's no big deal. I just looked for a restaurant that I thought that she might like. I wanted to do whatever I could to raise my chances of her saying yes.
Oh my, how adorable. Were you really that worried she might turn you down?
Well, I don't have much experience with dating women, so I did a lot of research. I did everything possible to make things perfect.
It sounds like you really did put a lot of effort to grab my daughter's heart. I've wanted to talk to you for a long time, so I'm glad I've finally gotten the chance. I was wondering what kind of person you were and what my daughter likes about you. But it looks like I don't have to worry. You seem like a very sincere and honest person.
I can understand why you're so worried. I think I'd be worried too if I had never met my own daughter's fiancé before.
I'm sorry that I messaged you like this, out of the blue. I asked my daughter if I could send you a message because I was so curious about you.
You don't have to apologize. I've been pretty curious about you and Millie's dad myself. I was wondering when I would get the chance to talk to you both. I'm glad that we've had the chance to talk like this, even if it's just over line.
Yes, me too. I'm very relieved that you seem like such a nice young man.
Have I measured up to your expectations?
I really am sorry. You must feel like I'm testing you and judging whether you're really worthy of being with our daughter. I'm sorry if I've made you feel uncomfortable. I shouldn't have been so insensitive. Our daughter is an only child, so my husband and I have a tendency to be overly protective of her. I hope you'll forgive me.
No, it's no problem. It's only a matter, of course, that you're curious and anxious about what kind of person your daughter is dating.
Exactly. We can't help but be a little anxious. We've always been so protective of her and kept her away from anything we thought might be of harm to her, so she probably's grown up a little clueless about how the real world works. She can be very naive, and that makes her a perfect bait for anyone attempting to deceive her. You can understand why we'd want to do everything possible to prevent that, can't you?
What about me? Do you think that you can trust me with your daughter?
Oh, I can definitely trust you, Noah. I've only heard good things from my daughter about you, and as far as I can tell, you seem like a very honest person.
Oh, really? What have you heard about me from Millie?
She told us how you lined up for 8 hours in a queue to buy her a birthday present. I've never heard of a boyfriend that's gone to such lengths for their partner after just a few months of dating. Not only that, she said it was a very chilly day and that you ended up catching a cold afterwards.
She's just exaggerating. It was just a mild fever. It wasn't that big a deal. If anything, it's embarrassing that I ended up getting sick from being out in the cold for just a few hours.
She told us about how you met, too. About how you chased away a strange man that was insisting on getting her phone number, no matter how much she turned him down. You accompanied her until she got into a taxi to go home, didn't you? You're a wonderful person. If only more men were like you.
I didn't do anything that heroic. I wish I could have shown a cooler side of myself, but to be honest, I was shaking the entire time I was telling him to leave her alone. I don't think I could have been of much help if he had gotten violent.
It doesn't matter if you were afraid. What matters is that you had the courage to stand up to him and stop him from bothering my daughter. I can understand why she fell in love with you. I don't think she could have let you get away that easily after you came to her rescue like that.
Thank you for saying that, Linda. That makes me feel a lot more confident as Millie's fiancé.
Of course, and you're not just brave, you're very polite, and you seem like a gentleman. I think that I could trust you to take care of my daughter. I've spoken with my husband, and we were saying that it might be nice to have dinner together, all 4 of us. Do you have some time to come over and eat lunch next week? I'll prepare something for us to eat, so would you come with our daughter?
Really? I was hoping to meet you both as well, so I'd love to, if you don't mind having me.
Then it's decided. I'd be happy to make you both something to eat. I can't wait to meet you both together. Don't you ever come back here. You've finally shown your true colors. I know exactly what kind of person you are and what you're playing. I don't want you coming near my daughter ever again. Do you understand me?
Linda, this is all just a huge misunderstanding. If you could just listen to me. I'm not unemployed. It's just a little difficult to explain.
If you have trouble explaining what you're doing, then you're unemployed. It's as simple as that. There's no use trying to use smoke and mirrors to trick me.
I'm an investor. I'm earning a proper salary, so you don't have to worry about your daughter. I'm not going to take advantage of her.
But Millie said herself that you're always at home. If you're always at home, then how on earth could you be earning anything? How can I trust you?
I'm always at home because I'm working from home. I don't need to go anywhere if I have my laptop.
Besides, it's not just the fact that you're unemployed. I have a problem with the reason you gave for leaving your previous job, too. You said you left your job because of your mental health, didn't you?
To be precise, it didn't go that far. I didn't get depressed or anything, but I felt that I was on the verge of suffering from depression because of the issues I was having with coworkers and my managers. But ever since leaving that job, I felt much better about myself and a lot more confident. I became an investor when I started buying shares during my hiatus. It's been a few years since I started, and I've gotten a hang of it, so I'm earning a lot more nowadays.
You really want to call yourself an investor? Oh, you're just saying that for appearances.
Why would I go that far to lie to you about the work that I'm doing? Do you have any proof that I'm making all of this up?
Of course it's a lie. How could someone who's suffering from a mental issue manage to turn their life around so quickly with a big break like that? It's impossible. And most importantly, you say that you have all this money, but you don't look rich at all. You look like any other person on the street. Because of everything Millie said about you being so kind and coming to her rescue from that creep asking for her number, I expected you to be a little more handsome, but in reality, you look boring and crude. There's nothing gentlemanly about you. When you mentioned that you left your job for mental health reasons, I wasn't surprised at all. You look like the typical crazy person.
That's the first time I've ever been told anything like that. I accept that I must look pretty boring. I've never had much confidence in my looks, and I'm not great with fashion, so I can't argue with that.
Exactly. If you were really rich, then you should be wearing designer items and trying to look the part. You could at least have worn an expensive watch to prove it, but you don't have anything.
I spend money on food, but I don't really use it on anything else. I'm not really interested in designer fashion either.
I have an acquaintance that's suffering from depression, so I know everything there is to know about people with mental health issues. It's not that easy to recover from something like that. People with depression are unfit for working in society and can't do anything by themselves. And yet you changed jobs to become an investor? Do you really think that I would believe that it was as simple as that? Oh, there's no way you could have made such a miraculous comeback.
Not everyone suffers from depression and recovers from it in the same way. There are some who can. And managed a miraculous recovery when I found what I felt was my life's work in investing. And I believe that Millie told you that I'm not unemployed too. Can't you believe what your own daughter is saying? She's been working at home, so she knows that I'm not just sitting around doing nothing.
But that is all you're doing. You spend the entire day sitting in front of the laptop staring at nothing, aren't you? How could Millie know what you're really doing if she's not watching you for the entire time? My daughter's being tricked by you. I just know it.
I'm not tricking her.
You say that you're earning a proper salary, but I bet that you're just using the savings you made when you were working a full-time job and waiting for your chance to live off my daughter. You're going to make up some convenient excuse that your investment didn't go well and make her pay for everything for you, you parasite. You're trying to take advantage of her. I just know it. I'm not going to let you get away with it. Mark my words. I'll show her what you're really like.
What do I have to say to get you to believe me? I don't have any sick ulterior motive like that. I don't plan on becoming a parasite either. I just really want to be with her and make her happy.
Sure, I was tricked once by that sweet talk of yours. You seemed so honest and sincere, which is rare nowadays, but it's a shame I can't approve of you. I have a message from my husband, too. He says to never come near our daughter ever again, you con artist, or he'll call the police on you.
Linda, please. Would you please listen to what I have to say? I can't give up on Millie that easily.
What do you want? Are you still going on with all your lies and excuses?
I'm happy that you've finally gotten around to answering my messages. I want to fix the misunderstanding that you and your husband have about me. You've got to let me have another chance with Millie.
Well, I think that we've already told you enough times that this is it for the both of you. We're not letting a loser like you marry our daughter. You don't have a job and you don't have the money to say you have. We're sick of your lies.
But I can't just give up on her.
You're a very persistent man, I'll give you that. There must still be something wrong with you if you're that obsessed with being with our daughter. If you're not careful, you're going to end up becoming a stalker if you keep on bothering us like this. Don't come near our daughter. It's obvious that you're a danger to society. You should be put in a hospital.
What kind of threat do you think I am? I'm not going to do anything to her. I just want you and Millie's dad to explain to me what I do for a living. You're obviously misunderstood about what I do. And if that's the reason why you don't want me to be with your daughter, then I can't just give up without trying to explain myself. All of your comments about me being mentally ill and about me being unemployed are all untrue. That's all your assumption, not my reality.
But it's the truth. You can't play dumb now. It looks like our daughter has been chosen as the target of your insidious little trap. But we're not letting you get away with it. You're abnormal is what you are. If things were to turn out like this, we should have kept a closer eye on her and put limits on who she could meet and see. I regret having invited you over to have lunch and let you into our house. If you ever turn up at our house, I'll be calling the police. Remember that.
Why won't you listen to anything I have to say? Why can't you believe the choice that your daughter made? She's the one that said yes to my proposal.
Why should I listen to anything you have to say? Your words don't mean anything. You may be able to deceive our daughter with that tactic, but you'll never be able to trick us. You must have thought that Millie was an easy target because of how ignorant she is, but as long as she's got us protecting her, she'll be fine. It was brainless of you to think that we would be just as ignorant. But what a shame. We're a lot smarter than that.
I'm not trying to tell you that you've got me all wrong. I'm not as untrustworthy as you think. And do you realize that you're belittling your own daughter in the process? She's not as ignorant as you say. Millie's her own adult, and she can deal with her own problems.
Oh, shut up. You don't know a single thing about our daughter. She really is ignorant. She doesn't know just how dangerous the wide world is. That's partially our fault, since we've always been far too protective of her. But at least she's better off than you, considering what a failure you've become.
Than me? What do you mean?
I mean that you clearly haven't had a proper upbringing. If you'd been raised with a little more care, then you probably wouldn't have turned into such a pathological liar.
Wait a second. Are you saying that my parents didn't raise me properly? Are you really going to bring them into this conversation? My parents have nothing to do with this. So please stop talking badly about them.
Or your parents' con artists, just like you. Is your entire family a line of liars, good-for-nothings, and failures? That's even more reason for us to disapprove of you getting married to our daughter. We don't want to mix with people like you.
All right. If you're going to go that far, then I'll give up on Millie. I won't go near her ever again. But trust me, you're going to regret this down the road. You're going to wish that you never spoke about my family like that. Good luck with paying off the debt.
What? What debt are you talking about? We're not in any debt.
Oh, I don't know. Since it's got nothing to do with me anymore. Maybe you should go and ask your precious daughter what I mean. She can answer you. Anyway, I won't message you again. Goodbye.
Noah, please answer me. Is it true that our daughter is in debt?
Yes, it's true. You finally heard the truth from her?
But why? Why is she in so much debt? Oh, it's impossible. How could this be happening? Is this your fault too? Did you do this to her?
She told me herself that she got into that debt before she met me. She must have been too ashamed to tell you both.
So she got into debt over a year ago? Why? How could she end up in debt?
Apparently, she was really addicted to shopping at the time and ended up buying too much on her credit card. She told me that it wasn't rare for her to end up spending over $10,000 a month. That irresponsible spending continued for a while, and she was borrowing money from a lot of companies in order to pay off the debt on her credit card. Before she knew it, she owed a total of $80,000, and she had no way of paying it off.
What? 80,000? I can't believe it. And did you know about that when you proposed to her? Oh, you couldn't have.
I did. I was pretty surprised when she told me, but it didn't give me any reason to leave her. I didn't want to abandon her for a reason like that. It looked like she already learned her lesson, and she promised that she would never waste money like that ever again. So, when I proposed to her, I told her that I would pay off her debt in her stead when we got married. I promised her that she wouldn't have to worry about money as long as she kept her promise too. To me, $80,000 isn't a lot of money, so I didn't mind parting with it, with the hope that we would work together to stay clear of overspending in the future.
What? We're talking about the same $80,000, aren't we? How is it not a lot of money? Just how much money do you have? Were you serious about being an investor?
How many times did I tell you? Way too many to count, to be honest.
No way.
You were so absorbed in your delusions of what kind of bad guy I was that you couldn't stop your insults for 1 second. You could have just listened, but you didn't. Your loss. And now, I've broken off the engagement with your daughter. Are you happy now? We're not getting married, and I'm not going anywhere near her, ever again.
I already know that. She's right here, crying her eyes out and having a tantrum. That's why I messaged you. She's telling me that it's my fault that you're not going to pay off her debt for her. But I didn't know about any of the promises you made to each other.
Are you trying to say that it's not your fault because you didn't know? You're really going to shift the blame after everything you said? No matter what anyone says, it's your fault. You're the reason why your daughter lost the chance to marry a gold mine, and now she's stuck with that mountain of debt all on her own.
What? My daughter never thought of you as a gold mine. How horrible. She's not a gold digger.
But she does.
No, she doesn't. She would never.
If I think back on all our time together, it was pretty stupid of me to think that she was really in love with me. There's no way she could have gotten over her shopping addiction that easily. And one big sign is the fact that she's never offered to split the bill. I should have realized sooner. It's too risky to decide to marry a woman that is over $80,000 in debt, especially when we're both so young. I think I made the right decision by breaking up with her.
Wait, but she's crying. She really doesn't want you to leave her. She's saying that she'll do whatever she has to do to get you back together. Can't you rethink breaking off the engagement?
You're the one who told us to break up, and yet you're trying to put us back together? I thought you said that you didn't want your daughter marrying a good-for-nothing man like me, from a family of liars and failures. Those are all words you insulted me and my parents with. You don't have to lie to me. I know that you're over the moon now that Millie and I aren't going to get married anymore.
No, I was just misunderstanding about you, Noah. I am sorry. Please, I know that you're a much better person than this. My daughter owes you so much for offering to save her from so much debt. We all owe you for being so kind.
It's too late to start praising me now. I'm not going to fall for the act, and I'm never going to forget the fact that you insulted my parents.
Noah, I'm really sorry. Please forgive us.
Will you please leave me alone? I'm not opening the door, so there's no point begging on my doorstep. All of my neighbors can see you three on your knees, and it's really embarrassing. And you're in the way. Go home. And if you don't want me to call the police and have them remove you, then I suggest that you leave right now.
Please. Can't you see how serious we are? We'll get down on our knees. We'll do anything just for your forgiveness. I'm so sorry that I was so rude to you and your parents.
I don't need your apologies, Linda. I just want all of you off of my property. Go home.
We can't leave, not until you rethink breaking off the engagement with Millie. She says that she wants to get back together again.
I told you already, didn't I? I believe that I made the right decision by breaking up with her. That's the conclusion I came to after thinking about our relationship. I've already made up my mind, and nothing will change that. If anything, thank you for giving me the chance to think carefully about our future and put a stop to it before we got married. Getting divorced would have been pretty complicated.
If you can't think of getting back together with her, then can I ask you for one little favor? Could you lend us some money? Please, just $10,000 will be enough. I won't ask for anything more than that.
What? Why should I do you a favor in return for you leaving me alone?
We don't have the money to pay the $80,000 to the banks and companies my daughter owes, but I'm also aware that we have a duty as her parents to clean up after her. We want to help her pay back her debt. My husband and I are currently talking to relatives and friends who can lend us money to pay it off, but as you can probably guess, it's not going so well.
So, you think that I should cooperate? Why? You don't have any right to ask me to give you money. Do you even realize how obnoxious you're being? Don't you have any shame?
I know that I'm doing something unforgivable and that you must think that I have no morals, but if you really don't help us, then our entire family will end up on the street. We won't have enough money to pay for the bills or for the rent. Please, we would do anything to help our daughter. That's all we ask.
Okay, then go ahead and help your daughter. You said that you would do anything, so do what you have to do. However, I don't want you involving me. I'm not interested in helping any of you, so you'll have to manage alone. I don't have any obligation to help you or your family.
Noah, I actually looked some things up on the internet. I found out that you're actually a very famous investor, aren't you? You had been telling the truth from the very beginning, and yet I had been rude enough to run my mouth with insults just because I assumed that you had been lying. I really regret not listening to you sooner, and I am very sorry for the way I treated you. I wish I could take everything back, but it's too late for that.
Yeah, you were going on a literal rampage. No matter how many times I told you to listen to me, you wouldn't believe anything I said, and even went as far as to say that I was lying. I think it's the first time I've ever felt so unpleasant when talking to someone.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to protect my daughter. That's all I could think about. I couldn't stop myself from trying to chase you away when I thought that you could be tricking my daughter into marrying her so that you could leech off of her. Oh, please forgive me.
You were calling me abnormal and talking about me as if there was something wrong with me too. But if you ask me, you're the one that's abnormal, Linda. After that, my fiancée and her family ended up drowning in debt. Millie had no way of paying off the debt she owed, so she had to rely on her parents, but unsurprisingly, they didn't have a lot of money to spare themselves, and in the end, they had no choice but to sell their home in order to pay off a portion of the debt. However, not only was their house pretty old, the location it was in wasn't very great, so they didn't get as much money for it as they hoped they would. Even after giving up their home and selling some prized possessions, they couldn't pay off the entire debt, so they're still struggling to earn money to make the payments. Apparently, Millie's parents have had to get part-time jobs, and they're all still working day and night to pay off the debt. They've moved to a tiny cheap apartment where they don't have much space and have been forced to be extremely frugal. It seems that they've been in touch with relatives and going around to friends to beg for help, but it looks like they haven't found anyone willing to help them in their time of need. But I'm not really surprised that everyone has turned them away. Considering the way they treated me, I can imagine that they had the same issues among relatives, and that they probably didn't have a lot of trust from anyone outside their family. At every turn, I can't help but think that it was the right idea to cancel my engagement with Millie, especially now that I know that her own extended family wants nothing to do with her. It was a tough experience to realize that the woman I wanted to marry was actually just interested in my money, but I also feel that it was a necessary stepping stone in learning more about the real world. The reality is that there are just some families that are just a piece of trash, just like Millie's. I hope that one day I'll have the chance to meet a wonderful woman with a wonderful family.